Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in 23 Sports. I'm Taylor Smith.
And I'm Jack McGrath. We've got a great show for you here today. Lots of Tigers in action these past several days, and we've got everything you need to know about Mizzou sports.
All this to come on This Week in 23 Sports.
Welcome to This Week in 23 Sports, your premier University of Missouri sports update show. Now your hosts, Jack McGrath and Taylor Smith.
Big news coming out of Gainesville, Florida last weekend is that nasty brawl that broke out between the Tigers and the Gators before halftime.
This brawl broke out after a late hit from Mizzou's Trajan Jeffcoat on Florida quarterback Kyle Trask on their last play Hail Mary attempt to end the first half. Both benches cleared, punches were thrown, and once everything was finally de-escalated and the players were herded into their locker rooms, Coach Mullen came back out for Florida and escalated things. Here you're seeing the brawl, the punches thrown, just an absolute brawl here at Florida.
Would not bode well with the SEC, Dan Mullen's actions, or the players' actions. For early this week, the SEC did come down with sanctions for Mizzou linebacker Chad Bailey, O lineman Dylan Spencer, and D lineman Markel Utzi earned themselves half-game suspensions that will be enforced in their game against the number 5 Georgia next weekend. For Florida, D lineman Zach Carter and linebacker Antoine Powell also received half-game suspensions, also against Georgia, but their game is this weekend. And head coach Dan Mullen was fined $25,000 for escalating the situation.
Not a great look for either team, and both coaches have stated their regret over the situation. Mizzou football has a bye week this week. They'll have some extra time to practice, come together before they have to face Georgia next week.
Yeah.
All right. In other news, the other news came from the volleyball court last week. Mizzou took on conference rival Kentucky, who was ranked number 3 in the nation in a 2-game series.
Right, and while this series had high implications because of it being the two top teams in the SEC, because of two top 10 teams in the nation, it's early in the season. It's hard to say, what the implications really were. But we had Bria Williams head out to that game on Wednesday, so let's check it out.
The Claws are out tonight as the Missouri Tigers women's volleyball team takes on the Kentucky Wildcats in fall home opener. The Tigers started their season off with a sweeping 2-0 win against Alabama last week. They plan to continue the winning streak as they play at home. The Mizzou Tigers claimed all 5 SEC honors last week, ahead of the top 10 SEC showdown against the number 3 Kentucky Wildcats tonight. The Tigers started the evening on a high note with a steady lead, gaining a lead on the Wildcats after a kill from Kylie DeBerg. The Tigers continued the lead with another kill from Claudia Dillon, a serve from Kentucky, ending with a kill from Tiana Omerzich. Set 1 continues to be competitive with Kentucky defense winding up, but the Tigers push through with a set-ending kill from Anna Dixon, leaving the score 25-23 Mizzou. Set 2 started off hot, with the Tigers' offense crushing the kill list. Anna Dixon with back-to-back kills, leading the Tigers in the beginning of the set. A huge kill by Kylie DeBerg ties the set 25-25. The teams go back and forth for set point. Kentucky gains the lead with set 2 ending score 35-33. Set 3, the Tigers are trailing behind with some attack errors. Lecator member Monet with a big kill, tying the score 11-11. The Tigers fall short after a long battle, 25-20, ending of set 3. Set 4 energy is just as the same as set 3's. The Tigers fight hard on defense but fall short with a 25-18 set 4 ending score. Kentucky wins this match with 3-1. With a great fight, these Tigers aren't finished yet. Come back tomorrow at 8 p.m. for day 2 against the Kentucky Wildcats. This game will also be a pink out in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is Bria Williams, 23 Sports.
In match 2 on Thursday, the story was much of the same. Missouri jumped out to a first set lead, but fell in sets 2, 3, and 4. Missouri kept set 2 close, losing 25-21 in that one. But after that, it was all Kentucky. Allie Stumler led the way for Kentucky with 22 kills, while Kylie DeBerg had 14 kills, and Anna Dixon had 12 kills for Mizzou.
They could not, the defense could not keep a hold of Allie Stumler for sure. Missouri got back on the right track on Thursday by handing Arkansas its first loss of the shortened season in a 5-set win. Kylie DeBerg set her career high in kills with 28, and Dariana Hollingsworth Santana had 14 kills, also her best. Mizzou remains at number 3 in the nation according to the coaches poll despite the losses to Kentucky, but will be facing some adversity down the stretch.
That's right. Tiana Omazic, a preseason All-SEC middle blocker, went down in the first match against Kentucky with a torn ACL and will be out at least for the end of the fall season.
Very unfortunate to see her go down. That was heartbreaking, crushing, gut-wrenching. But Claudia Dillon stepped up in a big way against Kentucky, and we'll see what she can do and bring to the floor the remaining 3 games of the fall stretch. They will have a 2-week break after tonight's match, before they face Ole Miss November 20th.
Moving on to cross country. Last Friday, the men's and women's cross country teams competed in the SEC championships. Arkansas swept the championship, but Mizzou had some top 10 individual finishes in the men's 6th place team finish and the women's 7th place team finish.
Yes, they did. And we had a 3rd place finish from Sarah Chapman for the Tigers alongside Jenna Gearing from Kentucky, who beat Chapman by only 0.9 seconds. But for the men, Kieran Wood finished 4th overall. Good to see some Tigers up there in that leaderboard that was largely flooded with Arkansas runners.
Mizzou cross country does not have any more events on their schedule. We don't know if that is subject to change, but we will be sure to keep you updated if it does.
Meanwhile, Mizzou soccer has completely evened their record now at 2-2-2 after defeating Kentucky last Sunday.
Missouri dominated Kentucky, scoring 4 goals in the first half. It was a decisive win with some goals scored that we'll highlight later in our top plays.
Yeah. And now the women were set to take on Georgia this Friday at Georgia. The program announced today, however, that game has been canceled because of COVID cases on the Georgia team. The game will not be made up, meaning the Tigers will finish their regular season this weekend at home against Florida.
Following the regular season, the SEC has decided that it will still hold a SEC tournament over a 9-day span starting November 13th with the championship on November 22nd. That will be held in Orange Beach, Alabama.
News from the swim and dive squad, they've added at least 3 meets to their slate. They will compete this weekend at home and in about a week and a half for long course trial qualifier, and then in 2 weeks for the Mizzou Invite. We'll keep you updated with those details each week.
All right, that's enough for the news for right now. Let's kick it to our top plays this week. The chance at the free kick, bounces it off the wall, and Erica McIntyre, bullseye from the top of the box, puts Missouri up 4-0.
Off to the volleyball court, Kylie DeBerg with the save of the point, then gets right back up for the block in set 1. Huge play, big momentum play. Good to see it.
Mizzou soccer again. Lindsay Whitmore from the left wing crosses it in, and it hits the crossbar and goes down. She is credited with the goal. Macy Trujillo was also right there if she needed any help. Look at this again. Just a fantastic ball from Whitmore to put Missouri up 2-0.
And that's your top plays this week.
Well, that has been our top plays of the week. Now let's take a look at what's happening in Missouri sports next week.
We already said we have volleyball finishing up tonight against Arkansas, and then we see again soccer versus Florida Sunday, November 8th. That game will be at 1 p.m. on SEC Network. That game is at home.
And then men's golf has the Jerry Pate National Intercollegiate in Birmingham, Alabama. That'll take place on November 9th and 10th. And then women's golf as well has the Liz Murphy Fall Collegiate Classic that is at Georgia, November 6th through the 8th. All right, and then also women's swim and dive versus Arkansas takes place November 7th. That'll be at noon on the SEC Network Plus. That's where you can catch that event.
And then the men's swim team will also be in action on the same day, but taking on a different team in Missouri State, also at noon, also on SEC Network Plus. And that's what's happening this week. Well, so, volleyball, it was a disappointing loss, but at the same time, early in the season, playing a top 10 team. Now Kentucky's ranked number 2 in the nation. I was glad to see that Mizzou didn't lose any spots in the rankings. I think that was fair. Because that's such a tough team, and this is going to be 2 contenders in the tournament in the spring.
Exactly, and now they go up against Arkansas, who is 4-0 heading into their game on Wednesday. They have another chance against Arkansas tonight. Mm-hmm. They can take 2 wins against that team, push them back up comfortably over 500. Yeah. Could still turn out to be a pretty good fall season for this Missouri team.
I'm predicting that we'll finish this fall season in the top 10 still. Maybe even closer to the top 5. That's all subject to change in the spring, but, they'll have a nice long training period over the winter. Maybe that'll give Tiana Omazic some time to come back. She does have the option to come back next year. She does have a 5th-year option, so she can do that. We might be missing her this season, though, so that's really disappointing. And so hopefully the team can rally around that and still play good throughout the season.
Exactly. So Mizzou volleyball has been a bright spot. We have some great upcoming events as well in Missouri sports. You should be sure to tune into all those. We'll have the same coverage next week of what's happening the week after that, and also we'll bring you back up to speed on what happened this week as well. So thanks for tuning in with us. For Kaylor Smith, I'm Jack McGrath, and stay safe, Tigers.